Good morning. Welcome to your Saturday morning, early morning intuitive guidance. A few minutes later than usual, we had a stroll around the school, and boy, was it brisk. I had my winter coat on, but wished I had had my earmuffs, so I have to go hunting for them and dig them out. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's Kick-Ass Coach and Psychologist. I'm going to move this back just a smidgen, see how much I can knock over in the process. Nothing, yay! Good morning to whomever just popped in. Glad you are here. So this is our early morning intuitive guidance, something to start our day off well. Of course, I just dropped them both on the floor. Just a minute. We needed a pause there for station identification. Good morning, Carolyn. Glad you are here. Welcome, welcome. I'm dropping things all over the floor. So our card today comes from the Allowing Prayers deck by Siobhan Nash. Good morning, Janine. Welcome. Glad you are here on this fine, brisk morning. The what I could see of them, the leaves that were on the ground had a frost on them that was really pretty. So that was nice. And the stars were amazing this morning. So if it's still dark by you, go stick your nose out quick and look at the wonderful stars out there. So, Allowing Prayers, 57 invitations to spark a conversation with your soul. Good morning, Cindy. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for all the hearts and smiley faces. This is good. We're on a roll today. And I like our card because I think it's an expansive card, and it is a card that can take us places. It can help us grow. So our card for today, let's breathe just a little bit. A couple of nice deep breaths just to expand and open up. On the next breath, take in more air than usual. Release more than usual. Let your shoulders drop. Just wiggle a little bit. Just getting in the groove for this wonderful card, which is Allow Liberation. Allow liberation. So when you think of liberation, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? For me, it's the women's liberation movement from back in the 60s and 70s, and it is liberating people from work camps and prison camps and that kind of stuff. Good morning, Joe. Welcome, welcome. What are your connotations to liberation? Because we're going to get a little expansive lesson here in liberation. So it has 2 questions on it, and I want you to just consider each one. And what I'd like you to do is breathe on each of these questions for just a couple of minutes each and see what you notice. If you want to put something in the feed, that would be awesome. Good morning, Rayford. Glad you are here. We're doing the Allowing Prayers deck today. I'll show you the pretty little bird sitting there. And our card is Allowing Liberation. Allowing liberation. So we have 2 questions to ponder. So nice deep breath. Let it go. And here is the first question. What outdated perception do you need to free yourself from in order to embrace who you are right now? I'll read it again, and then I'm going to read Cindy's. What outdated perception do you need to free yourself from in order to embrace who you are right now? Oh, Cindy says, being liberated from worrying about what other people think about me and how I live my life. Amen, amen, hallelujah. Good morning, Beth. Glad you are here. We are doing Allow Liberation. That's our card for today. So back to the first question. What outdated perception do you need to free yourself from in order to embrace who you are right now? And I'm just going to give you a little bit of quiet to think and create your own answer. If you want to put it in the feed, that'd be lovely. Because the outdated perception, whether it's of yourself or of others or of how life works, whatever one you put in the feed will be something that someone else goes, oh yeah, that one too, me too. All right? What outdated perception do you need to free yourself from in order to embrace who you are right now? Outdated family norms? Yes, 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 yes. One in my family that I think is kind of hilarious is we don't talk about things, we just do them. And then we wonder why they don't work out well and why people are thinking different things and not communicating. Good morning, Brenda. Glad you are here. We are doing Allow Liberation at the moment. So it's all of this. Everyone has their own assumptions about what's going to happen. Like, we've got a classic opportunity today. My sister's driving up and we're going to go remove the furniture from this house that we're flipping. And I will guarantee you, all three of us have in our minds how this thing's going to go down. And because we don't discuss things, it's going to be a shit show. Eventually it'll get done, but there may be some yelling. There may be some, wait a minute, why are we doing that? And I can't tell you the number of times. Good morning, Gwen. Glad you are here. The number of times where we have something heavy in our hands and one person's trying to go one way and one person's trying to go another. And I'll be going, wait a minute, communicate. What is it that you want? Where are we going? I can't help you if I don't know what you're doing. So that's one in my family. We just don't talk about what we're doing or how we're doing it. And those of us who like to do that, like my sister Carrie and I, we're kind of looked at like, what is wrong with you? Another outdated view that I think many of us need to get rid of is that idea that we have to be nice, especially women. Many women of a certain age have been trained to be nice. We wouldn't say shit if we had a mouthful, right? I tend to be more mouthy than most people are, most women are, but Midwest nice, you know? It's kind of like the Southern thing of bless her heart. You know, that's a kind of a knife in the back here, guys. Carolyn says, I'm freeing myself from feeling I'm not enough and not heard. Yes, 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 yes. Beth says, good card for October, such a time for cleaning and clearing, reset. Absolutely, absolutely. Now, what I want you to be prepared for with this is the people in your life who you love ain't going to get what you're doing. And they're going to attempt, subconsciously of course, attempt to pop you back into old behavior. Cindy wants a repeat on the Midwest nice thing. Oh, on the shit comment. Yeah, it wouldn't say shit if you had a mouthful. We need to be speaking our truth. There was a man at the Madison conference, the co-housing conference that I went to, older gentleman. He was talking about how difficult it is in his intentional community because there are so many women of a certain age. Good morning, Tina. Glad you are here. Who go along to get along. And how that doesn't work with the process. The process is we are all equals here. We're sitting around this table. We're coming to this table as equals. Everyone has a voice. Everyone has a voice. And many of them are so used to not having a voice that they don't know what to do with that. And so they just go along to get along. But then behind the scenes, they're disgruntled about stuff, but they don't bring it to the table. So as you're allowing liberation, part of this may be some difficult conversations. So your husband says, let's go to Burger King. And that's always where he wants to go. And you don't want to go to Burger King. And so you say, how about if we go to a nice sit-down place? Right. Let's go to, I don't know, Applebee's, whatever. I'm just making stuff up. And he gets the disgruntled look because it's never happened before. You've never said, I want to go somewhere else, right? So as you're practicing this new you, this liberated you, this you who has opinions and would like to share them kindly and lovingly, it's going to create some stir. It's going to create some difficulties. Cindy says, but women are supposed to be submissive, don't you know? Old patterns die hard. And there may be times when you find yourself falling into those old patterns without even realizing it. So, family meals. Who clears the table? The women. Who pays the bills in your family of origin? Those patterns will tend to repeat moving forward unless you examine them, unless you take a look at it. Wait a minute, I don't want to do it that way. I don't want to. So for me, the family dinners thing was enough to drive me insane because my mother would go nuts for 2 days cooking, 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 cooking. There would be 7 people at the table. There would be a turkey, a ham, 3 desserts, a zillion side dishes, none of which she would allow us to make and bring along. And I'm like, this is nuts. This is nuts. So we need to be able to have those conversations. I was talking to a friend of mine. They do a family Zoom, and she talked about on the family Zoom how several of them had talked on the side about changing something, and she was the one who brought it up. Dead silence. Those who hadn't been a part of that conversation were like, what the hell? And those who had been a part of the conversation took a good long time to step up and say, yeah, we had talked about this and I think it's a good idea. They kind of just let her twist in the wind there, being the one who brought it up. And that, unfortunately, she says, is kind of her role. She's the one who brings something up, thinks that they have some people who are on board with it, and they're all doing the Midwest nice thing. Well, if the boys don't want to do that, we won't do that, blah, blah. The boys being 60, 70 years old, right? We need to look at these patterns. Younger people, I think a lot of younger people are starting to make changes to a lot of this stuff. So men do know how to change diapers. They do know how to parent. It's not, I'm babysitting my children. These are your kids. You can't babysit your own kids. They're yours. You get to keep them. So, and that's one of the things I love about this intentional communities idea. It allows liberation because you go back to basically having a village, people around who help with raising your kids. So if they're misbehaving in the community space, someone else may say, hey, you guys need to cool it, settle down, you know, let's find a game for you to play or something like that. People will help you raise your children. It takes a village to raise. It takes a village to raise old people. It takes a village to raise married people. It takes a village to raise single people. We need support. We need help. Be the change you want to see. Yes. And in community, when everybody comes to the table as an equal, you may have more conversation about what changes do we want to see. And if Janie wants A and Joey wants B, how will we communicate to come up with C that is better than both A and B, right? So that was our first question. What outdated perception do you need to free yourself from in order to embrace who you are right now? Here's the second one. Who could you be without that old belief holding your true self hostage? Who could you be? I was thinking about this yesterday. I had my luncheon with the 2 women who were the leads on this task force for dealing with the homeless crisis. The housing crisis is beyond homelessness. It's a housing crisis in my area. There aren't enough lower end homes for people to buy into. There aren't enough builders to build new stuff. The supplies are actually getting easier to get. The architect that I'm taking a class from said that the cost of lumber has come down 60% since the height of COVID. We all need to know that, right? How many of us have avoided doing projects that might require wood right now because we believe that the price of wood is still outrageous? Go check. Supposedly it's come down 60% since the height of COVID. Cool beans, right? We can get some things moving again. Who would you be without that old belief holding your true self hostage? Glad my boys have changed that and are great equal partners with their wives. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, and Cindy, could I repeat the second question? Well, there we just did. So I'll do it again. Who could you be without that old belief holding your true self hostage? So I'll give you one of mine. I was often told, I'm too loud, I'm too busy, Bonnie, come away from the window. Bonnie, sit down. Bonnie, stop talking. And you get to the point where I had this belief of myself that I'm a pain in the ass. I am just a pain in the ass. Pain in everybody's ass, that's me. working that through, I now see that this energy and enthusiasm can be an asset, not just a liability. It certainly can be a liability. I can be a pain in people's ass. But it can also be an asset. So when I met with these two women yesterday, at the end, one of them remarked, if anyone's going to get this intentional community project done, it'll be you. And we had a wonderful conversation, these two young women and me, about what is possible. We possibilitated, and it was wonderful. And they gave me the names of two other women, a real estate developer in the area and the CEO of the Fox Cities Home Builders Association, whom I will reach out to and hopefully get time with, and we can have some more conversation about how do we make these things happen? How do we address these issues? Because again, as the women, or the group, it was, I think there were 15 people in the task, it's a housing advisory task force. I think there were 15 people, males, females, people from all walks of life, people from building backgrounds, people from government backgrounds, people from 501(c)(3)s, nonprofits backgrounds, all coming together to look at what's going on, what's not working, what do we need more of, how do we fix it. So they had, I think, 19 initiatives. And when I highlighted, that was one of the things I wanted to do, was share with them what I'm wanting to create here covers a whole lot of those initiatives. I think it was over half the list. Oh yeah, we want this, we want this, we want this. This process could create that for them. They were pretty happy. I was pretty happy. It was a fun lunch. And I think moving me on to the developer, the person who would find land and create this project, is a cool next step. Really cool next step. So, second question. Again, who could you be without this old belief holding your true self hostage? So let's go back to the nice. I have to be nice. I have to go along to get along. I have to acquiesce to what others want, particularly men, etc., etc. When you tap into your true self, and your true self says, I'm not comfortable with us doing that. I don't want to do that. You know, I'm going to pick something out of the ethers. I want to recycle. My people in my household do not want to recycle. I want to be valued enough by the people in my household that if I say, put all those things in a particular place, I will take care of recycling them, that they would honor that this is important to me, and let's do this. Let's do this. So instead of just throwing my soda can in the garbage, I will set it aside so that Bonnie can, or a plastic container, I'll set it aside. She can rinse it out. She'll take care of it. She'll recycle the whole thing, whatever. Since that's important to her, I will honor her by helping with recycling. I think many men of a certain age were not raised to really even listen to what women want and what's important to them. And so this nonviolent communication process, good morning, Jill, puts them in the position of learning how to listen. Research shows that when you have a group of mixed people together, males tend to dominate the conversation. Females tend to defer. Males tend to interrupt far more than females do. Males tend not to apologize for that interrupting behavior. If a woman interrupts, because sometimes I get excited and I interrupt, I will catch it and I will go, oops, sorry, finish what you're saying, sorry, I'll wait. That all needs to change. And I believe it is changing. All of the belches, wheezes, and coughs that we see going on right now are the last gasp, dying efforts of the old patriarchy that no longer works, but it's going out with a howl. And if we can look at it through those lenses, it really helps us be able to tolerate the belches, wheezes, and coughs. It's kind of like clearing out this house. It is a mess. This poor man totally lost control of his life. And there's mouse poop everywhere, and there's empty bottles laying around, and there's boxes from Christmas. I guarantee it was from Christmas. All of the things that were purchased for people. So all these boxes need to be recycled. And there was one whole cupboard full of plastic lids. Not the bottoms, just the lids. So all of that stuff needs to be dealt with. If I go into that process going, oh my God, this is a disaster, I don't even want to do this, nothing happens. If I say my efforts today are in service to this house being made habitable for whomever's going to buy it, then I can get stuff done. Then it's all in service of reclaiming this house for someone who needs a place to live. So, who could you be without that old belief holding your true self hostage? There's your second question. I would love to hear that some of you took some time to journal with these two questions. What outdated perception do you need to free yourself from in order to embrace who you are right now? For some of you, you might be going, I don't know who I am right now. Then that would be a lovely question to ask yourself on the page. Who am I right now? Just start writing. I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Well, I know I'm not this, and I know I'm not that. But who am I right now? Well, I'd like to be, and I'd like to be. Cool, but who am I right now? And just keep writing. Do not let the pen leave the paper for 3 pages. That's the gist of morning pages. Morning pages will serve your heart and soul, people. 3 pages of longhand every morning. Every morning, meet the page. Just show up. Even if you spend the whole 3 pages writing, I don't know what to write, I don't know what to write, I don't know what to write. Do that. Do that. In 30 days or less, you will be amazed at how it has changed you, how it has opened up insights that you had just subliminally, they weren't quite at that level of awareness. Now you've popped them up to awareness so you can do something with them. How awesome is that? All right? So there is our card for today. That was a whole lot of talking. Allow liberation. And thank you all for your comments and your engaging with this process, because that's what's going to help all of us grow, right? So I'm also thinking here and there, I'm going to start pitching in some information about this style of communication that involves everybody being an equal at the table.